Hello guys, welcome back to another video. We are going to be breaking down and predicting the winners and losers of the UFC's Fight Night. Vegas Santos versus Hill. I believe this is in Vegas. But yeah, let's get started immediately into the first fight of the card. We have Mayra Bueno Silva versus Stephanie Edgar. I completely forgot to look up how to say some of these names, so it's gonna be a rough video. Okay. So yeah, not that this is a weird name or anything, but yeah, let's get into it. So for Silva, she won her last fight against Yanan Wu. Not Will. She dropped Yanan in the first round. She has some good power, but is very patient on her feet. Does have some good kicks and calf kicks. She did struggle against someone like Mananfura, who kept the distance and picked her apart during her fight with her. Her takedown defense is a little iffy sometimes. Yeah, it's not very predictable or anything. It's just very iffy takedown defense. Stephanie Edgar, she is coming off an armbar win over Jessica Rose Clark, which seems like a very common thing nowadays. But she is very awkward on her feet, does leave herself open in the stand-up, and it seems like she is kind of afraid to get punched. Like, she'll stiffen up, like flinch back or like walk backwards every time someone throws a punch. But she does have good wrestling, good takedown defense, and good jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to say Stephanie Edgar is going to take her down and grapple her or try and finish it during the fight. But I'm going to edge this to Stephanie Edgar. Yeah, let's move on. Let's actually move this to Stephanie Edgar. So it looks like we're actually predicting someone. Let's move on. Next fight, 2 women's fights in a row, 2 lower level women's fights in a row. Corey McKenna versus Miranda Granger. McKenna, last fight was a decision loss to Elise Reed. Does have some good power, some solid leg kicks, but could probably work a jab a little bit more. She seems to just throw hooks the whole time. Yeah, and does leave herself open quite a bit in the striking. Granger, last fight was almost 2 years ago against Ashley Yoder, which she did lose in, and also has a loss to Amanda Lemos. She is like a very small lady compared to most of the fighters she fights with. She's like really skinny, it seems like, or just like a lot smaller. There's something off there. She just looks way smaller than her competition. But yeah, she's very susceptible to takedowns. Does try to look for the knee bar quite a bit. Does have some good jiu-jitsu, but I'm not very impressed with her stand-up in general. So that's why I'm going to give it to Corey McKenna in this fight. I believe this is her. I don't have the photos here. But yeah, Corey McKenna is going to get the win here. Let's move on up the card. We have Jason Witt versus Josh Quinlan. Jason Witt was his last fight was against Philip Rowe, which he did lose in, and also has losses to Semmelsberger and Takashi Sato, and does have a win over Bryan Barberena, which is a solid win in its own right. But yeah, does have some good wrestling, decent striking, does have a not very good chin, which is weird because when you're like Bryan Barberena, he has some decent power when you fight, but when you rewatch it, Bryan Barberena didn't really throw punches at him, didn't really put too much into his punches. But yes, guys like Semmelsberger did knock him out pretty easily. A 15-second KO. Philip Rowe put him out cold. Yeah, and Josh Quinlan won his last fight on the Contender Series, but was turned into a no contest due to him pissing hot. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, he's been out for 9 months, but does have some really good power and some pretty good technical striking, which is why I'm choosing him to beat Jason Witt. I think he's gonna probably shadow realm him, in all honesty. But yeah, I'm going with Josh Quinlan in this fight. But yeah, let's move on up the card to the next fight. We have okay. They switched the card around, so my notes are going to be off. Terrance McKinney versus Erick Gonzalez. For this fight, McKinney lost his last fight against Drew Dober. I think he came in on short notice, I believe, just like a few days. Almost took him out early, but did get finished a little bit later on in the fight. Almost did have Drew Dober finish, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, he did waste his energy a little bit earlier in the fight trying to get the finish and didn't have enough for the rest of the fight. He does have some really good power. He's like a really good burst opening up into the fight. Very explosive. Does have some great wrestling, but the cardio is a little iffy. That's the only thing that's holding him back. The cardio is pretty bad. So, hey, Mohammed Usman's on the card. Tell him to hit up Kamaru and get him the good stuff, to get that cardio good. But Gonzalez, his last fight was a debut against Jim Miller. He did lose. I think he went out cold against Jim Miller in like the second round. Does have some solid wrestling. He's got some decent stand-up, but is very hittable on the feet. But yeah, does have some decent power in his hands. But yeah, I'm going to go with Terrance McKinney here. I can see him just putting him out cold or TKO pretty early in the fight. Terrance McKinney does that, especially early in the fight. I think he's minus 1,000, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I don't see Erick Gonzalez winning this. But yeah, let's move on up the card. We're zooming by. Let's keep going. All right, so they switched these. Bryan Battle versus Takashi Sato. Sato lost to Gunnar Nelson in his last fight. Didn't throw anything against him, it seemed like. Just circling around, legit. It was very annoying to watch. I didn't get anything out of the fight. This was very hard to write. Base-wise, because he didn't really do anything. His last two fights, he's shown almost zero activity on the feet. Doesn't want to throw anything. So like his, I don't remember exactly who he was fighting. Let me check real quick. It was Gunnar Nelson and Miguel Beza. Yeah, he was not willing to throw anything on the feet at all. And yeah, that's why he got pieced up apart. I don't remember exactly how he lost. Miguel Beza was a triangle choke, arm triangle. Gunnar Nelson was a decision. So he's just jogging around for a decision, really. Bryan Battle, tough 29 winner. Won his last fight against Tresean Gore, basically securing the trophy, I guess, because he had to fight Gilbert Urbina instead of Tresean Gore, because Tresean Gore got injured or something. So yeah, that was the fight that happened instead. So they did that fight. Bryan Battle did win. Does have a win over Andre Petroski, who's looking pretty solid in the UFC right now. Just beat Nicholas Maximov. But yes, did beat Andre Petroski on tough. But yeah, Battle is moving down a weight class. Probably to where he's cutting more weight. Will probably look a lot better in this fight. Like obviously you can see on the picture here when he was at middleweight, there is some like fat still on him. So yeah, cutting down is probably perfect for him to welterweight. He does have a 4-inch reach advantage on Takashi Sato. He does have some good like leg kicks and high kicks. He kicks pretty frequently in his fights. Does have a solid jab. And overall good stand-up. Does have some really good fight IQ too. Like for example, Tresean Gore, heavy hitter, isn't gonna go in there like freaking Juliana Pena rushing and get knocked down. You know what I mean? Like not to compare anyone to Juliana Pena or any women's fighter. That's like, but yeah, he's very smart with his tactics in the fights that he's in, and yeah, and he just has some very solid wrestling too. So that's why I'm going to give him the win in this fight. I don't know if he KOs him or anything like that, but I am giving Battle the win on this fight. Yeah, let's move on up the card and not grab the screen. There you go. Moving on. Sam Alvey versus okay, here we go. Michal Oleksiejczuk. I had this one practice too. Oleksiejczuk. Oleksiejczuk. That's what it's gonna be. I'm gonna have to say it multiple times after this too, so that's great. I had it remembered yesterday too. But yeah, Sam Alvey, he has a 1 draw and a 7-fight losing streak. So he's in 8 fights. He has had 1 draw and 7 fights that he has lost. His last fight was against Brendan Allen, which is a pretty good competitor. I wouldn't say, well, I don't know if it's pretty good, but he's a pretty solid fighter. He lost by a rear naked choke in the 2nd round. Does have some solid hands, some good hands, solid stand-up, good counter puncher. Will stay at range and throw whenever you throw, counter punch that. But he is still a threat on the feet. The cardio is a little iffy after the first round against Brendan Allen. I don't think he was in it. In the 2nd round, he looked really tired. Probably why he gave up the choke in the first place. But yes, Oleksiejczuk. Okay, Oleksiejczuk. Oh no. Anyways, we'll just move on from there. I'm gonna have to say it at the end, anyways. But last fight was against Dustin Jacoby, who's a good fighter too. He say flatline Daun Jung, but we're not gonna get into that. But who is a good fighter? He does have some decent power. Good striking. Cardio might be an issue too. But has lots of movement. So I'm expecting Oleksiejczuk to take out Sam Alvey early. If he does not, I can see Sam Alvey maybe winning this fight, weirdly enough. I don't believe in both of their cardios. Like you can see, like they're not like in the best shape at all. If you wanted to bet an underdog, maybe put Sam Alvey. I wouldn't. Sam Alvey hasn't won a fight in forever, in like 3 years. So use that to your discretion. If they make it past the first round, Sam Alvey has a little bit better chance. But yeah, moving on. I'm giving Oleksiejczuk. I think I said that right. Oleksiejczuk. That's what we're going to go with. But yeah, we're going to move on to Ariane Lipski. Ariane Lipski versus Priscila Cachoeira. Lipski, her last fight was against Mandy Bohm, who I believe just fought. I want to say Leonardo or that. I want to say Leonardo. It doesn't matter. And dropped her in the 2nd round. Does have some solid power on the feet and does like to punch out of range quite a bit, like to punch the air a little bit. But she does have some good striking capabilities, good combos, and good grappling. She'll start out punching the air a little bit, but when she gets in, she has some really good combos and some good grappling. Cachoeira, her last fight was a win against Ji-Yeon Kim, who just lost to oh no, I just filmed this video. How do I remember it already? Forget it already. Why can I not remember this? Why does this even matter anyways? But we're gonna figure this out. Jocelyn Edwards. Yeah, just won against Ji-Yeon Kim. Which is a solid win. Ji-Yeon Kim does have some good striking in general. So yeah, Mandy Bohm did lose to Victoria Leonardo. But yeah, Ji-Yeon Kim does have some good striking, which is so having won over that is pretty good. She is very hesitant on the feet, but likes to brawl when in the pocket. Opens the shots when she swings and can land some takedowns, but they won't be important against Lipski. So yeah, I'm going Ariane Lipski here. Yeah, just because I think Priscila Cachoeira is a little bit more messier on the feet than her. So I'm just going to give it and edge it to her in the fight. So yes, let's move on up the card to Augusto Sakai versus Sergey Spivak. I don't know where we are on the... Are we on the main card now? Ariane Lipski versus Priscila Cachoeira was the main card. So yeah, we're on the main card right now. Augusto Sakai versus Sergey Spivak. I don't think I moved the there last time, but it doesn't matter. I already told you. But yeah, Sakai, his last fight was against Tai Tuivasa, and is currently on a 3-fight losing streak, where I think all of his fights were knockouts. Keep in mind they were against Alistair Overeem, Jairzinho Rosenstrike, and Tai Tuivasa, so they're really heavy hitters. Can't really blame him there. But against Tai Tuivasa, he did have some really solid clinch knees against him. Got out of the first round. Second round, he got knocked out though. And these are flatlinings too. They're not very pretty knockouts. Doesn't really do too much, but just likes to throw kicks and is very patient at the beginning of fights. Likes to work close. Uncomfortable leaning into strikes in the stand-up, but I put bound to be KO'd. Yeah, he gets KO'd quite a bit, and it's like it's flatline. Like there's no TKO. He just goes out. But yeah, it seems like he's very uncomfortable to engage. It's probably because his last 3 fights were against heavy hitters, but he'll throw some leg kicks. He'll jab a little bit, but he does not want to commit to anything. I can see this working from the clinch a little bit in this fight, but yeah, let's go on to Spivak. Sergey Spivak, his last fight was a win over Greg Hardy. I believe it was on the Colby versus Masvidal pay-per-view. Does have some good takedowns, good wrestling, solid ground and pound, and some decent power. Can't be reluctant to throw early versus some really good opponents like Aspinall. He wasn't too safe striking with him, which makes sense. Aspinall is a pretty good fighter. But yeah, I'm gonna edge this Sergey Spivak. I think he can probably out grapple Augusto Sakai and out punch him. I think he'll probably try to strike with him. I think he'll probably TKO Augusto Sakai, maybe in the later round, like second round. Yeah, probably second round. Maybe like damages him pretty well in the first round. But yeah, I think he'll get a little bit more comfortable in the second round, and we'll take him out. Yeah, that's who I got. Let's move the arrow so I don't forget. That is not Sergey Spivak. That's Sergey Spivak. Yes. Let's move on up the card to our first Ultimate Fighter 30 finale fight. This is Juliana Miller versus Brogan Walker. Yeah, Juliana Miller has some good grappling, very rough stand-up. Like, she's not very good at the stand-up. She holds just too much space out, like too much range. Will put her head forward to jab and things like that. So she's not a very safe striker. Does have some really good jiu-jitsu, and really good grappling, especially for the division. Gets hit a lot on the feet, which is what I was saying. She leaves herself open when punching. But yeah, Brogan Walker does have some good takedown defense, especially in her fight against Lauren Gallardo in the tough fights. Has a lot of decisions on there that go to the third round, which is a little scary, but does have some decent striking. Did have some solid takedown defense, but I don't think it's going to hold back Juliana Miller. I think Juliana Miller is a lot more skilled than a lot of the people on that show in the wrestling. I think she'll out wrestle Brogan Walker. Won't be an issue for it. I think she'll probably submit her maybe in the first round. But yes, if it stays on the feet though and she's able to stuff the takedowns, I think Brogan Walker will win. But I'm going to go Juliana Miller because I think she'll be able to out grapple her and submit her. Yeah. This fight, by the way, this card does not have too many great underdogs. You have to kind of like reach for something there. It's hard not to pick all favorites on this card. This card does not have any good underdogs. Like especially the last card had some pretty solid underdogs. Yeah, let's move on. I think I skipped a fight. Here's the second Ultimate Fighter 30 finale fight. We have Zach Pauga versus Mohammed Usman. Of course, Mohammed Usman is the brother of Kamaru Usman. Mohammed Usman does have some good power. Does like to windmill punches. Swings pretty hard. Swings pretty open. Does work the body a little bit. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call him technical, but he pieces of the body, will hit a leg kick every now and then, and swings at his opponent. Like, I'm not going to do it here. I'm going to hit something, but yeah, overhand swings, hooks, maybe a jab or two. He doesn't do too much like fancy there, but yeah, we'll move on to Zach Pauga. He's actually really good. I think he's probably the most talented fighter on this show. I may be wrong about that. I didn't really watch it too much. I just know there wasn't a lot of good fighters on there from what I saw. Does have some good power. Is very technical on the feet. Like will hit combos, will drape punches, hooks, work the body like all in combos. It's not like Mohammed Usman's where like hit, step back, hit, step back, swing, step back, jab, swing, step back. It's he just goes. He'll pick apart opponents, follows game plans, has some great stand up. And we'll see this going to the ground. I think, from what I believe from one of the fights I saw, I think he defended takedowns pretty well. I don't remember exactly what fight it is, which probably would have been helpful, but it does have some solid takedown defense. So I don't think that'll be an issue with him. But yes, I'm going to go with Zach Pauga in this fight. I'm sure the UFC wants Mohammed Usman to win. But either way, I think Zach Pauga will win the fight. And we'll move on to the it's not the co-main event, but I guess it doesn't really matter in this. It is technically a co-main event, since these are like the only, I would say name value fighters on here. We have Vicente Luque versus Geoff Neal. So this fight was very interesting to look up. So I'm just going to get into the fighter descriptions real quick. So Vicente Luque is coming off a loss to Belal Muhammad. I think it was like a couple months ago. Probably a few months ago. March-ish. Got out-wrestled in bits and moments of the fight. And Belal was able to circle around and just jab at him a little bit. Just to keep Vicente Luque at distance and not hit a bunch of combos on him and knock him out. But yeah, that was Luque's last fight. But Luque does have some, of course, you guys probably already know, good power. Not the best takedown defense. It seems like you can pretty easily take him down. But he's all right from the bottom. He's not going to get himself in too much trouble from the bottom. Yeah, he does have a good Darce choke. I think he submitted Michael Chiesa and one other fighter with the Darce. I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head. Michael Chiesa and Tyron Woodley, the Darce choke, which is pretty good for him. He gets it pretty early. Not pretty early. Gets it pretty easily. I think he almost got it against Belal Muhammad at one point in the fight. Yeah, but looks for it quite a bit. Yeah, and Geoff Neal, his last fight was a win against Santiago Ponzinibbio, which is a good, solid grappler himself. Definitely faced that test. I believe it was a split decision win for him. So yeah, very close fight for him, split decision. Yeah, but Geoff Neal does have some really solid stand-up. He does throw quite a bit of combos. Does have some good power in his hands, like not Vicente Luque power, but enough to like rock you back and take you down, or put you down. But he is a good counter striker. Does have some decent power and a good takedown defense. Yeah. So when looking at this fight, I was trying to think like. Rewatching many of the fights. Rewatched the fight with Wonder Boy, see how he did there. Not that Wonder Boy and Vicente Luque are comparable, just like a heavy striker, like what he did there. He completely fought him there. Yeah, I'm not sure if I see Geoff Neal taking this to the ground. Like it, I don't know. He probably could take it to the ground and might have some success there, but I think Vicente Luque will probably win this on the feet. I don't see why not. Yeah, I'm going to give this to Vicente Luque. I can see Geoff Neal winning this fight, but I think Vicente Luque will probably do probably win this fight. I don't see why not. He hits heavier. Will probably mean more into like a decision. I don't think a knockout will happen here. I don't even think Geoff Neal's had Geoff Neal even been KO'd before? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Oh yeah, he did lose by KO to Kevin Holland. I completely forgot about that one. But yeah, I think he's gonna strike with Luque. I'm gonna give this one to Luque. More damaging shots are gonna look more favorable in the eyes of the judges, and so yeah, that's why I'm gonna give it to him. Yeah, let's move on up the card to our main event of the evening: Thiago Santos versus Jamahal Hill. Santos' last fight was a decision loss against Magomed Ankalaev, who just did beat Anthony Smith in a 5-round decision. I remember this fight. I remember this like card a little bit of Magomed Ankalaev versus Thiago Santos, but I think I fell asleep during it a little bit. Like I don't remember what happened, so I had to rewatch it. Not much happened in it, in all honesty. I think I almost fell asleep again. But yeah, he did all right in that fight. He actually didn't do much. I lied. He didn't do too much in the fight. Yeah, but he does throw some solid leg kicks. Swings really hard, but doesn't really connect much, especially recently. I think he's moving away from his best moments in his career. Like after John Jones, it doesn't seem like he was really the same guy anymore. He went to a decision with Johnny Walker, which is very hard to do. Nowadays, Johnny Walker looked pretty good, obviously, but his shin's not really there. So Thiago Santos takes him to a decision. You know what I mean? So Jamahal Hill, his last fight was with Johnny Walker. Completely flatlined him, made a meme out of him. But yeah, does have some really good power. Very technical. And can grapple a little too. I think he saw that with Paul Craig, but Paul Craig likes you to grapple, likes you to get on top. So I don't even know if that's even true either. He just wants him to lay on top of him. But his issue is he keeps his chin out when he's not throwing. So essentially, Thiago Santos could take him out there. That's what I'm worried about. I could see this fight ending relatively, I don't want to say quickly, but I can see it ending in the first 3 rounds by TKO for Jamahal Hill. Yeah, took out Jimmy Crute relatively easily, 48 seconds. Knocked him down once, and then I think knocked him down twice, and then ended it on the ground. Flatline Johnny Walker. Won against Oven St. Preux in the 2nd round. Alexander Popek on the Contender Series, 2nd round TKO, KO. Or elbows from out. Yeah, so yeah, TKO. Yeah, does have a decision against Darko Sosik. And no contest. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna give this to Jamahal Hill. Like Thiago Santos is a bigger guy, but I just don't see I don't see how he can win this. I don't think he performed very well in his last fight. Obviously, it's Magomed Ankalaev, a completely different fighter, but I think Jamahal Hill is just I kind of want to see the reach on this fight real quick. So yeah, Jamahal Hill will have a 1-inch reach advantage. Not that it. Oh wait, no, that's not 1. That's 3 inches. So he'll have a 3-inch reach advantage. I think he'll be able to work his jab and things like that, his straight punches, hooks, and I think he'll be able to take out Thiago Santos within the first 2 rounds of the fight, 3 rounds. And yeah, that's my predictions. I don't have any underdogs off of my head right now. I can check Bovada real quick to see who are the underdogs or not. Let me scroll real quick. Juliana Miller and Brogan Walker Sanchez is pretty close. Kind of want to see where that line ends up by the end of the week. What fight? Sam Alvey, like Michal Oleksiejczuk, is probably gonna end him. Yeah, probably end his career too. But gets past the first, second round. I don't know how I feel. Both their cardio is bad, so I'm not gonna edge it to Alvey, but I think he does get a little bit better chance over time in that fight. Of course, the women's fights, they go either way, especially lower level women's fights. Vicente Luque versus Geoff Neal is very it's not too big of a difference right now. Geoff Neal might be a good person to look out for. I wouldn't bet anything too crazy on it, but maybe keep an eye on. Yeah, I think that's all the fights on here. I think they might have added a fight too. I'm not even sure. Let me check something real quick. I should probably end this video right now. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will create a prediction video on Monday or Tuesday for the Contender Series. I think it's 5 matchups. Hopefully no one backs out on weight this time. But yes. Yeah, I think a fight. Yeah, Nate Ludwig versus Zahira Terhogava. Oh my goodness. Got pulled, so yeah. Yeah, nothing too crazy on the underdogs for this fight card. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time.